Tokyo, Japan and Australia are close to agreeing a Visiting Forces Agreement, VFA, which would foster smooth military operations between the two countries, according to the Yomiuri Shimbun newspaper. Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull plans to visit Japan and hold talks with his counterpart Shinzo Abe to confirm the agreement mid-January, according to sources close to both governments. With an eye to starting talks on a similar pact with Britain by the end of 2018, Tokyo intends to deepen international security cooperation through multiple avenues by strengthening coordination with quasi-allies, in addition to the United States, should circumstances on the Korean Peninsula and in the East and South China Seas grow more severe. A VFA comprehensively stipulates the legal status of foreign forces engaged in temporary activities, such as joint exercises and disaster relief missions, in a nation's territory. The broad agreement with Canberra would be Tokyo's first ever VFA accord, though it has concluded a status of forces agreement with the United States premised on the long-term presence of its allies' forces in Japan. In the talks between Japan and Australia, which began in 2014, the two governments agreed to implement such measures as simplifying procedures when Japan's Self-Defense Force, SDF, or the Australian military temporarily stay in either country for joint exercises and other missions, by exempting customs on carried items and granting permission to bring arms and ammunition. In cases where relevant parties including defense forces personnel commit crimes in either country, the law of the country in which the crime was committed, in principle, will take priority. Tokyo and Canberra will continue talks on such cases, as additional time is necessary to clarify details on exceptions and the specific scope of the rules, among other issues. The two governments aim to officially reach an agreement on the VFA and begin implementation by the end of 2019. Behind Tokyo's effort to develop VFAs lies its recent focus on conducting joint drills between the SDF and foreign forces. In 2015, the Ground Self-Defense Force participated in US-Australia joint exercises for the first time. The Air Self-Defense Force also plans to hold its first joint drill with the Royal Australian Air Force in Japan next year. In the meantime, Japan and Britain agreed to aim to conduct joint drills on a regular basis at so-called 2+2 talks between their foreign and defense ministers on December 14. They are pursuing a conclusion to the VFA with an aim to expand the drills. A VFA is expected to have the effect of demonstrating a bilateral relationship of trust both within and outside the two countries, according to a senior official at the Defense Ministry. Tokyo intends to expand its security cooperation network based on Abe's free and open Indo-Pacific strategy in a bid to strengthen deterrence against North Korea and to warn against China's maritime advances. Washington Post.